Hi everybody, it's Clarke Camper with the February 2013 edition of Wall Street and Washington. Today I'd like to do something a little bit different, and that is focus on one particular topic, and that is what kind of policy we can expect out of Washington in 2013 around cash or securities issues. And to discuss that today, I'm joined by Brendon Weiss, who leads our cash and options advocacy efforts here at NYSE Euronext. So glad to have you here today, Brendon.
Thank you for having me.
First question, Mary Jo White. At the very end of January, President Obama nominated her to be the next SEC chair. How quickly do you think we can expect her to see her in the actual seat itself?
Yeah, so it's a little bit difficult to predict it, but what we've been hearing is that the Senate Banking Committee may hold her nomination hearing sometime within the next month, and that after that, she'll be referred to the Senate for a vote by the entire Senate, and that sometimes can get delayed based on other nominees that are up at the same time, but we would expect to see her be approved sometime in the near term.
So with that then, what do you think we can expect to see sort of high level, the macro level, out of the SEC in 2013?
The chairman is the one who sets the agenda for the SEC, so it'll determine a little bit based on whether Mary Jo White is confirmed and when she is put in place. However, there are several items that are required under the Jobs Act and the Dodd-Frank Act, which mandate that the SEC move forward with rulemaking. With regard to the Dodd-Frank Act, swaps, cross-border swap regulation is one of the items that the SEC feels like they need to get right in order to move forward with a lot of the other Dodd-Frank rulemaking. Chairman Gensler of the CFTC and Chairman Welter of the SEC have been in Europe this week talking about a lot of regulatory items, this being one of them. So we would expect something to move forward on that in the relative near future.
Got it.
With regard to the Jobs Act, there are a number of items within that bill that the SEC still needs to address. However, two primary ones are with regard to general solicitation and crowdfunding. Both have received some criticism from investor advocacy groups. However, we think that both the momentum behind job creation and the Jobs Act generally will move these rules forward in the relative near future, sometime probably before the end of summer.
So in terms of market structure, as our loyal viewers probably well know, NYSE Euronext has been very, very vocal on this topic. What do you think we can expect to see out of the SEC this year, and or the Hill to the extent that's relevant?
Yeah, so I think there's really three primary market structure issues that are being debated right now. One is decimalization, which is increasing the tick sizes for illiquid securities. The second is issuer incentives provided to market makers to increase liquidity in illiquid securities. And the third is a holistic review of market structure, particularly equity market structure. And with regard to the first one, there was a roundtable at the SEC yesterday where we had one of our executives participate in. I would say north of 80% of the people all support the SEC moving forward with a pilot. How that pilot is structured, gets a little bit more difficult in terms of gaining support of everyone around the table, but it could be done in one of two ways. Either the SEC can do a proposal and the entire industry will abide by it, or the SROs can put together a proposal, an NMS plan, and achieve greatly the same result. With regard to issuer incentives, the NYSE and NASDAQ have both made proposals to the SEC that would allow issuers to pay through exchanges, market makers, for providing liquidity in these illiquid securities. It's something that has garnered a lot of support both at the SEC as well as on the Hill, and we think the SEC will probably approve within the by the end of the second quarter.
Okay. Good. You mentioned a NYSE Euronext initiative. We'd be remiss not to have you provide a brief update on the Retail Liquidity Program. That is an initiative of ours that's been in place now for some months.
So we launched in August. It was a successful launch. What the program does is provide price improvement to retail orders that are coming to the exchange. So it really is one of a unique program in that the beneficiary of it is the retail investor. And we've garnered a fair amount of liquidity in the program thus far, and we continue to do efforts to increase the size of that program and the success of that program. And we would expect that to take place as more of the market maker community and retail community participates in the program.
Great. Good. Well, in closing, one question about a proposal that some of our viewers may be aware of. Recently, Chairman Dave Camp, who's chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, proposed a pretty wide-ranging overhaul of derivatives, how derivatives are taxed, and it included, among other things, an eradication or doing away with 60-40 tax treatment, which traditionally has been very important, particularly to the options industry. Right. Any thoughts on that proposal and where it goes from here? Yeah,
it really is a discussion draft at this point, and the committee proposed it with large intent to try to get the community that's influenced by it to come in and talk to them and discuss, what the impact really will be for different segments of the market. Mm-hmm. And I think they've heard a lot already from a lot of market participants, including us and including, the options and futures industry. Over the course of the next several months, more people will be in and meeting with them to kind of show them exactly what the impact is and whether or not proposing this is a good way to get at their overall tax strategy. Some of it may impact smaller market makers more than the large banks, so you really have to kind of take into consideration the constituencies of people that are influenced by it.
Right. Well, thanks, Brendon, for joining us today. It's been very informative. Really appreciate your stopping by. With that, we'll see you next month on Wall Street and Washington.